Hey guys, welcome to the Barn Garage. For those of you who've been following me for a while, you've seen this, you know this. For the new eyeballs, I'm about to give you a fresh tour of basically my man cave. So come on in. You can see it's Christmas time. We've got a little Christmas tree going on here. This space we're walking into, we're gonna come back to in a minute, but this is really the entertainment space. So we've got like reclining, massaging seats and couches. We've got a really cool table to hang out and play games or just sit around and come up with ideas. We've got a bathroom on that side and a utility closet, but we'll come back and show you that in a minute. What I want to pull you into first, and let's just talk about the garage in general. The garage is 36 feet deep by 60 feet long, and I can house about 10 cars in here with a lift. We had that at one point, but it's way too much to manage. So I've downsized to the collection that I'm extremely happy with. There's only one car that I have but don't have yet that will be here soon, but I was awarded a Mustang GTD, so that's in the works right now. If you've been following the channel or if you're new to the channel, stay tuned because we're gonna be updating you and taking you along that process. But in the meantime, for now, you already know about the big garage doors. These are, I think, 16 feet long each by 8 feet tall. I can't get my tractor in here. Don't really want to, but it works great for the cars. And my F-350 sitting outside is a little bit lifted and it can make it in here. So that's pretty much the purpose of why I built it the way I did. You'll see sitting here, this is my Super Performance Daytona Coupe TSX 2000. So we have a lot of fun with this car. If you want to see more about this car on the channel, we've got some really cool videos up. Did skip something. Miller's reminding me. This was my favorite Christmas present ever. This is a really cool vacuum. So what happens is it's got this big long hose. I don't have to move any cars to be able to vacuum them. So this is super helpful. You can actually pull it off too. I'm not gonna do it because the hose is wrapped, but you can pull this off and I drag it over here sometimes, the unit, and then I can reach all the couches and everything with the vacuum. So that's really cool. In a previous life, I was an Army guy, water polo player, did some MMA, like to CrossFit, so I am, like, my roots are in fitness, but I've let myself go a little bit in the last couple of years. So what I've done is I have a trainer now and I've created a gym space over here, which I'm really proud of. We've got the treadmill, we've got all the weights you would need, all the equipment. It is taking up valuable car space, but we've got the lift and, you know, we've got space for the GTD over there. So how cool is it when you get to stand here and do a little bit of workout and that's your view? Like, I'm not complaining. And you know what else is really cool too, which I was kind of bummed about for a while. So these are all pictures I've had done by Realistic Car Drawings on Instagram. That's his name. These are all done in marker and pencil, and they were getting covered up quite a bit. You weren't really able to see them. So how cool is it now that I get to work out in the space and see these are drawings of each of the cars that I either own or have owned, and I haven't had him update the pictures in a while, so I got some more for him to do. But there's also like some really cool pictures. He's got a couple more he's done back here of the old T-Bird and the 356. So now you get to kind of see that stuff, which is really neat. Behind here, before we get to the cars, this is my Tail of Dragon wall. You can see wearing Tail of Dragon shirt. Pretty neat. Every car, every time I go up there, I get some photos. You can see I've taken both GT40s up there. There's F85 through the Dragon there. Since that's like my baby, my favorite car, as you guys know, that one gets its own wall. But I've got Miller and I down there. We did recently take this. This is my 2005 Ford GT. We just got back from Corsa Rally. By the way, you should go check them out. If you've never done a rally and you have a cool car, it's one of the best rallies in existence. We did about 1,500 miles in this thing. It does not sit under a cover. It's only up here because I needed some room and I got to drive it a lot recently, so I put it up here. But you can see there's Miller and I on the bottom left shooting with that car.
It's the best car. Best
Miller and I have so much fun in these cars. I got pictures of Miller all over the place with these things. But there might be something else coming on this car that we're not gonna talk about now, but I feel like it needs to be a little bit faster. What do you think?
After riding this car, I mean, and doing a half mile in that.
We did half mile in the rain, and do we have any footage of that? It was pretty squirrely between every gear shift. We did get it up to, what was it, 158, I think it was, in the rain. So that's pretty good. I think it needs to go faster. So there's that. This is my 22 Shelby GT500. You've probably seen this around. Believe it or not, this is one of my favorite cars of all time. I talk about it all the time. I just love daily driving that thing. So this, if you don't know it on the channel, you're gonna see a hell of a lot more of it because we have some really cool stuff about to happen with this car. This is my Mecca. I love this thing. This is my Super Performance GT40. It is known as F85. it's never gonna get changed to anything else. So this color scheme used to go with number 7. It ain't number 7. This is a one-off. So anyway, long story short, that's my favorite car in the world. This is my High Tech Legends 1967 Shelby GT500. This is VIN number 2. If you haven't seen anything on this car on my channel, you should go watch it because this is a continuation. It is licensed by Shelby, but it's a modern take on the original 67 Shelby GT500, and it is awesome. All the upgrades they made to this are just phenomenal, especially the supercharged with independent rear suspension. So it drives like a maniac. Right here, this is my YouTube wall. So our goal is to hit 100,000 subscribers next year in 2025. All of this is experiences that I've had with certain people. Oh, look at Brad. Haley Deegan's come over and driven F85. Matt DiBenedetto, you've probably heard, you know, all race car drivers, and just really good friends. Brad too. Brad's a race car driver, I guess. Yeah, sucker. No, stunt drivers, and yep. Just friends of ours and friends of the channel and all that stuff. So this wall will fill up completely full of people like this, and maybe even you one of these days. So above this is really special to me. This was my Mustang GTD acceptance letter for my allocation. So I printed it out, I circled the address of where I needed to send the stuff, and I was like, wait a minute, this is kind of special. I'm gonna frame this. So that's what I did. And this is the spec I really like on that car. So as I'm specing my car, I'll keep you guys posted, but I'm still obsessed with that color. Yeah. I thought about doing it to like be in this color scheme, but I don't think this will do it justice. I just really think that's the way to go. So I'm gonna take the most difficult way to show you the other parts of the garage here. You will notice the shades. I'll give you a quick on that. So this garage is controlled by the Elon system, which is a very tech-based system, I guess. I knew nothing about this before I did it, but you'll notice I got a big ass fan up there. Those black things hanging down, those are speakers. All the lights, you have the high def LED lights up top. Those just add for the additional lighting, but all the rest of the lights are actually Lutron lighting. So if you know anything about that, all the technology is in the bulb itself. So I think it's like 17 million colors or something. It's amazing. But those are all controlled through either an app on my phone or something on the wall, which I'll show you. And same with all the blinds, they go up and down from electronics. So before we go back in there for a sec, this is really special to me. You can go find him. You can put his info down in there. He was a follower of mine for a long time, and he made this, he asked me if he could paint my GT40, flew him out here and he presented it to me in person. He's all the way from California. He's awesome. He even drew a ring on my finger for my wife, so she wouldn't get mad. So he made, but one of my dad's favorite sayings growing up, he has since passed away. If you're not having fun, what the hell's the point? I love that he incorporated that in the painting. And then this wall was perfect for it. I didn't know what to put there, and I was like, that's going on the wall. So pretty neat. I did have a 67 Camaro that I built for one of my large development projects. This was the initial rendering, and this was the initial test spray, one of the test sprays. We did just sell that car recently. Sad to see it go. There is a video on the channel. You can check that out. But this is kind of like a memento type table. This here, one of my followers made, Andy, thank you, is a exact replica of my other GT40 that I just sold. Oh my God. Oh God. These cars stay, but you know, so I've got like a replica of the 054 GT. This is actually really cool. I'm just gonna show, so this is actually the license plate frame off of Carroll Shelby's original Cobra that he was in love with. It just sold at, I think it was Mecum auction. And this is actually the frame that was on the car. One of my friends knew Carroll Shelby. He gave this to him back in the early 2000s, literally took it off the car while he was at his house and gave it to him. And my friend presented this to me. So it's not about the value to me. I'm all about the story, and how cool is it that I have like a real memento from Carroll Shelby himself in my garage. That's pretty special. Back to the project that Camaro was built for. That's a big project we built in downtown Mooresville called Mill 1. You've probably heard it on the channel. All the wood beams in here, this is out of the original mill. It was built in the 1800s. A whole downtown built to support this mill. We recently took that mill. It was all broken down and empty and vacant, and the town was struggling. We took it, we rebuilt a really beautiful large project. Sits on a park. mill1mooresville.com, you can check it out. This is the original wood from that. My stairs and my table are actually an oak tree that the town forced us to take down behind the property, and I was so upset that this tree got taken down that I slabbed it and then I put it in here. So That's pretty cool. You will see more of that wood out of the mill here. And then this brick tile, this was actually also used in the new development of Mill 1 in the main hall of the building. So we had a bunch of this brick left over. We thought how cool to like represent that project and how special it was in this garage. So that's part of that as well. This is my Elon system. So this actually controls all the lighting. Here's all the options for the lighting. I've got cameras, I've got flamethrowers outside, so don't try to come here. No, just kidding. Snipers on the roof, that's all controlled from here. But no, this is a really cool system. So this controls all the Luton lighting, the shades, all that stuff. It's just all in one package. We do have a utility closet. I'm just gonna kind of skip over that. I will go in the bathroom with you though for a second because it actually is pretty cool. The reason I'm showing you this is when I was first inspired to build this garage, it was gonna be just a metal building, and I actually saw this wallpaper on an Instagram ad. This was like 4 years ago. And I was like, you know what would be really cool? I wanna put that somewhere in my garage. And then what better place to put it than like in here? Because this is a man cave, and like, you just gotta have cool shit in your bathroom. That's just how I thought about it. So what I did was, I was like, what color am I gonna paint the bathroom? Well, I pulled the green out of the Viper, because I used to have a Viper, and then I threw it around the room. And I just thought it was a nice touch. So this is pretty cool. Everybody loves it that comes over and checks it out. Because I'm a GT40 fan, I found this little Le Mans picture, so I had that put up in here. And then I also have a drawing of my Dodge Viper. I had an 05. That was pretty awesome. As we come over here, there's a lot of meaning in here. I'm gonna try not to get too deep into it, but this here is a picture from inside the old mill of Mill 1. That's my son and one of his friends way back in the day. This is when we were actually tearing down the old mill. This brick on the wall, I actually have one of the original bricks. You could pull it off the wall with your hands because it was hand-pressed brick from the 1800s. So unfortunately, we had to tear the old mill down. But if you go see what we've built, it's incredible. And we utilized a lot of the original material inside it. So I just thought that was a cool memento to kind of like bring that story into the wall. These are all my license plate frames. These are from cars I either had, like my No Bad Days or my Vin Gigs. I had these on cars at one point, but these two are really special to me because these two license plates, my mom hung on to since I was a little kid and presented these to me as my 40th birthday present. Just saying. Just saying. So that's really cool. So they have a special place. So I get to see them every time I walk outside my garage. I see those. And those are on my dad's cars. And since he's passed, they're now on my wall. Now, obviously, I'm really into stories and I love creating memories and all that stuff. So what I've done here is I've created this collage wall, so to speak. So these are all pictures of whether it's car experiences, like for example, Autotopia LA, if you know their YouTube channel, they came out and did an episode with two of my cars. There's Sean here and the crew. That was pretty awesome. So this is a conglomerate of a lot of the adventures that even Miller and I have together. And you can even see down here, one of our followers did me and Miller with as the Simpsons.
That's so crazy, man.
So we've just had, you know, just a great time. This is kind of funny actually, and I won't say too much about it, but I may have given him a ride in a car. He might have left a speed trap to do it. So that was in a GT40. You know, when a GT40 rolls up on you and goes, "Hey, do you want to ride?" Can you say no? Is that a thing? This is really cool. This is from the arcade guys. They have an online store, but this has about 17,000 games on it. Old OG arcade games. If you're older like me, then you know exactly what. But I had this skinned in like a Back to the Future theme, but it's got like Star Wars and all that stuff over it. So I don't know, my kids and all their little friends, we have a great time playing on this thing. I wanted a space to hang out. It's a great space. I love how we designed it with obviously the throw rug, but if you notice, I've got a Mill 1. This is original wood out of the original mill. But what we did was we shifted colors because what I wanted it to feel like is very cozy in here, and you hang out and you watch a movie with your family. And by the way, there is surround sound built in here. It's pretty epic. Then I wanted you to like feel like you're kind of leaving a room to come out here. So that's why we set it up that way. What do you say we go upstairs? So now you're getting to walk on, you know, a little bit of history behind the mill, which I love the stringers we used and these stairs. And as you come up here, what's cool is if you're following along, we've started a podcast, and the podcast is called What's Your Daily Drive? And it revolves a lot about the purpose of people's lives. And so this is actually the set that this was actually, let me back up. This was just what it was here. And we're like, let's set a podcast up over here. So what I did was we were gonna buy furniture and all this stuff. I painted the wall. You can see it's cut off the top to have like a really cool vibe as you're sitting here being interviewed. And then I decided to do an episode, and we sat here. It was like, oh, that's a cool set. So this is the podcast set. And we recently added the curtains just to help with a little bit of light, but there's a window back there, so it is usually a lot brighter up here. Then my workspace, so the way I designed the garage was I wanted to work and be able to see the cars, because to me, what it helps me do is it kind of motivates me to want to do more and just continue to grow and help other people and all that stuff. So since this is my passion, a love of my life is cars, right? I'm just an auto enthusiast. It's kind of cool to like see and feel and touch that every day. Now, you might notice these snorkels here. So I actually built this during the pandemic, this whole garage, and there was a lot of stuff we couldn't get. There was a lot of stuff that was significantly expensive. So originally we got quoted to put a 10-ton AC heating system in here. It was gonna be $80,000. And I said, it's gonna be what? I'm like, there's gotta be another way. So what we did was we devised something that cost me a fraction. I think I spent 15 grand at the end of the day for heating and air in here. But originally we had this whole thing planned where like there were ducts gonna go across and the unit was gonna be outside. So instead what we did was we walled these areas, and the heating units are inside these walls, and these are ducts that actually, they feed both heat and air in the space. And they do it in a way where with the big ass fans help, it feeds the space fantastic. So I never feel uncomfortable in here, do you? It works great. So that was our solution to that. And then we have the 2 AC units sitting outside behind the building. Other than that, you can see, obviously we've got more mementos in the garage. We've got another picture wall. This was my Lamborghini Performante. I had Viola Parsife, which is like one of 5 they built in that color. And we bought this little Walmart car for my son and wrapped it in purple, and we did this little video. It's really cute. You can see it on my Instagram. It's just, I didn't come from much financially, so to me, that was a very big milestone in my life. And then 5 months later, I sold that car because I didn't like the attention. So I much prefer the car guy cars. But there's a very special picture up here, because this picture down here is of F85. That was my first time owning that car. This is when Miller and I met. So that represents a really special place. And that was not a picture shot by you. That was Built Media, but that's the car show we met at.
That's the day.
That's the day.
Watched Ford versus Ferrari.
You did, yep.
Crazy.
Obviously, we've got the shelves. I will show you this because this is really, well, number one, you have an R8 motor. That is a real motor out of an Audi R8. I have owned 8 years worth of Audi R8s. I love those cars, many of them. And I love those cars. So I saw that engine, someone had turned it into a table. They were in the UK. So I bought it and had them ship it here. It was great. I know I'm going fast. I'm trying to keep the video a little shorter. These right here, these are bricks out of the original mill. So that big project we did, you can see the brick is actually falling off as I hold it in my hand. So this is one of the original bricks out of the original mill from the 1800s. And this is one of the new bricks we used on the outside of the building. 244,000 of these bricks laid one by one, and they did it in like a month. It was crazy. I've never seen anything like it. It's a very big building, as you can imagine. And then there's other trinkets for all our developments we've done. There's a lot of stuff up here that represents those. I do not really drink, but they make for good. I had all this alcohol, so I was like, oh, it makes for good decor. My kids' boots that they used to wear when we first bought the farm, you know, they're younger, and my son's jacket that I will never get rid of. So that sits up here as a memento, just because that's that person I am. So I think that's it. I think that's all I got. I appreciate you guys sticking around. You can see how this plays. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch the original Barn Garage video. It's one of the first videos I ever did on the channel, and I think I shot it myself. Yeah. Just with a phone or something. So go check that out, because you'll be like, what happened in here, you know, in the last couple of years. It'll be kind of neat to see the difference. I also did one last year, and it looks a lot different from then too. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate you. Stick around. Please go subscribe and watch videos on the podcast. If anything, you will learn a lot or be inspired by this. Man, what do you think? The episodes we've had so far are incredible, because we talk purpose, we talk what gets people up in the morning. Everything's very authentic and genuine. It's just great conversation. It's also available on Spotify and or YouTube on a separate channel, so you can check that out. Other than that, I guess I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for coming.